the 2025 Self-Care Energy Report from Divine Me Time. Hi, this is Beth. Last year, I started to release a self-care energy report to talk about the most beneficial ways that you can apply self-care in the coming year ahead. It's that time of year again, and welcome to the age of Aquarius. If you've been doing the work, then you're probably loving the energies. If you haven't, well, your path might be a little rockier as you play catch up. But that said, things are shifting more and more quickly, so if your intention is high, it might not take you all that long. Here is your 2025 Self-Care Energy Report to smooth your path. Flexibility and comfort with the unknown are essential qualities to nurture. Flexibility because we're going to be facing unprecedented changes at a swift pace. And comfort with the unknown because we aren't going to have any basis of comparison as we move forward. This can either create inner confusion and chaos through resistance or exhilaration and magic if we simply surrender. So here's what I recommend people focus on for self-care in 2025. Number 1. The password is greater good. Whatever challenges or situations you find yourself in, this is the password to receiving all the universal support and guidance you will need to persevere. Accept all that happens around you and to you as necessary for the greater good. Let go of your own attachments to outcomes and put that same energy into an act of knowing that all is unfolding just as it should. This will save you so much suffering and mental anguish. Number 2, discern the message. This is always good advice, and in fact, I think it was part of the 2024 forecast too, if I recall correctly. But it comes with different flavors in 2025. It applies not only to what comes at you from outside sources, but now what comes from inside you as well. I'll assume that by now, readers are using mass media as an entertainment at worst and a gauge of planetary insanity at best. But what we must all do in addition to that now is discern from the voices with which, up to now, we've actually aligned. That means favorite podcasts, favorite astrologers, trusted gurus, and others who we turn to for a sense of grounding and connection might also need to be let go. More and more, we are being called into the silent inner space of our own being. If that's still hard to do, that's where your practice takes focus. If it's already a regular practice, then the work is being able to discern the origins of the messages and insights you receive. Don't assume what you receive is clear and trustworthy. In fact, remember to surrender it all back and submit to the greater good. Number 3, invest for abundance. So all systems and institutions are going through monumental change right along with human bioenergetics. If you have been operating with a scarcity mindset, you'll need to confront that head on and work quickly. That might not be terribly pleasant if you're unable to focus the mind on what you want instead of what you don't, or if you're easily swayed by all of those talking heads. Remember to discern the message. Consider that everything presents a choice to accept or to resist. Part of this is letting go of expectations again. Declare what you would like and set it loose. If something else appears, you can accept or resist. But remember, one leads to pleasure and the other pain. It's your choice. And just to add, I didn't actually write this in the written version of this, but do think about what abundance means to you and also what investing means to you. Sometimes investments aren't short term. They require long-term holding. And then there are also times when we have to act really quickly in order to take the most benefit from something. So just kind of keep aware of what prosperity might look like for you and how you might be redefining it or taking actions that maybe in the past you wouldn't have even considered as leading to prosperity. Number 4, surrender often. I mean, I've already mentioned this, but here it is on its own. The word surrender can carry some negative connotations in a world where the fighter spirit is so strong. But the surrender of 2025 and the years ahead isn't that kind of surrender. It isn't a surrender down to one's knees. Rather, it is an upward surrender. Do you remember, if you've seen the movie, the scene in Star Wars when Obi-Wan is about to be struck down by Darth Vader? He doesn't surrender downward by giving up. He raises his lightsaber in complete serenity, and rather, he surrenders upward to, quote, become more powerful than you could possibly imagine, he tells Vader. That's the surrender I'm talking about. It's time to allow the greater force to lift us into our power. I recommend starting your day as soon as you become conscious with a prayer of surrender. You can decide what this says and what it means. Give all things back to she or he who gave it to you, and be willing to be lifted up and out of the ordinary, habitual, broken, and exhausting. Number 5, maybe, maybe not. Anytime you catch yourself in 2025 being certain of some outcome or description of something that's happening or of someone, you might want to step back and remind yourself of this simple phrase. Perhaps, perhaps not. This is even more crucial when others are attempting to tell you how it is or how something will play out. It's easy to fall prey to another person's certainty or to propaganda, and doing so will pull you into their dream of expectation. While that might be a good thing if it's in alignment, it can also be detrimental if it is fear-based. In 2025, it's far better to take an anything can happen stance because anything can. Which leads me to my next piece of advice. Number 6, stop negative processes. Feeling negative about your life or the world in a downward spiral of judgment or fear or cynicism. If you're aware enough to notice what you're feeling, you have a fighting chance of the next 3 steps. Number 1, recognize how your own thoughts and behaviors are contributing. How might you be fueling the ongoing narrative with your thoughts or actions? It's a hard question, but one necessary for any progress on the evolutionary path. Number 2, pause in non-judgment to make a choice. It's so easy to beat ourselves up for feeling bad in the first place. Talk about a vicious cycle. We judge ourselves for judging ourselves. Sometimes we have to be with a certain mindset in order to work with and transmute it. Accept where you are. Slow down. See it all clearly first, without judgment. And number 3, initiate a positive process in place of the negative. Once you see clearly, then you can change trajectory. This can be counting your blessings or some other form of gratitude, or it can be using statements of affirmation. Really, it can be anything that shifts your state to a more positive one, as long as whatever you do causes no detriment. And finally, number 7, make offerings. For those who recognize the interconnectedness of all things and the spirit within the material and invisible, 2025 is a great time to develop or rebirth and offering practice. Honor the spirits within the elements. Honor nature, your ancestors, your connections to others with offerings. This doesn't have to be complicated. It's about focused intention. So some examples might be feed the birds. Recognize that you are not in nature, but a part of it. Feed your little flying counterparts with a sprinkling of seeds and an acknowledgement of that love and appreciation. Or pick an element or two. Build a warm fire, safely of course, or take a walk by a stream. You can ask the fire to fuel itself with what no longer serves you, offering that the fire burn it away. Or you can pour a glass of water over which you've prayed intently for all good things into a larger body of water. These are just some examples, and you can use any of the elements to create your own offering. You could also light a candle and simply say a prayer. Perhaps set up photos of your parents or other relatives and thank them for their love and support, or help heal the lack of it. Light a candle to represent the light you keep for them now. Or write it down. Make a list of things you're done with, or use fuel from the negative process exercise and bury it in the earth, asking the earth to transmute the energies to positive ones. The practice of offering is really about two things: connecting to something with love and appreciation, and using our words and imaginations to set strong intent. With these self-care tips in mind, your 2025 is bound to be beautiful, magical, better than expected, an experience of growth and spiritual development. Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this self-care energy report, please do like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when I drop a new video, and comment. It helps the algorithm so that more people can receive this information at such an important time. Thanks for your support, and be sure to visit me at my website on divinemetime.com. And if you're interested in working with me privately, do reach out. I have some spaces available for new clients in 2025. Bye for now.